Okay, so I want to share some things with you. I have to first clear my desk, and I'm sorry about my nails. So yeah, playing around with oil paints on a collage thing. The biggest problem for me with oil paints is the fact that I have to kind of be very careful with where I put pieces that I'm working on or that I finished, because the paint, needs a long time to dry. I have some solutions, but it's still difficult for me. And here I just wanted to show you, I really need to kind of work on this more, because I do think it's always great to know what your colors can do for you. So I wanted to show you, I think one of the best things that I feel that I got from this course that I'm taking, that I mentioned on my Patreon. I'm not sure if I mentioned it also on YouTube, but I'm taking this oil painting course from Dreama Perry, and it is quite expensive, but it is so fun and so beautiful. And one of the really best things that I learned from her is some of her kind of recipes or ways of mixing colors. Now, I know color theory, I've read books about it, I feel comfortable with it, but there are definitely, this particular thing, definitely I feel like upped my color mixing game. And so she does a lot of painting. She has her recommended palette, and you can find that on her website, so you don't have to be enrolled in a course. And that's why I feel comfortable talking about it, because it's not something that is, only for course participants. So she has her palette. This is not her palette. This is my very unlimited palette. But she uses, when she mixes kind of her more opaque colors, she uses, of course, a lot of white, which is kind of a given, and everyone recommends it and everyone says it, and it's very intuitive, especially if you're working with a limited palette and you have your, let's say, more pure, intense pigments, then white is a given. And here you can see some examples. I just wanted to know, because sometimes I will like a color, but I wouldn't necessarily like all the things it can do. And ideally, doesn't always work with every color, but ideally I want to have colors in my palette that I like in their pure form, but then that I also like most of what they can do when I mix them. So here's an example of one such color that doesn't do that for me. This is New Indigo from Charvin. I really, really like the pure color. You can see it's almost black, but it's not black. It has more liveliness and luminosity, and I do enjoy using it as a dark. But you can see when I add white to it, it gives me shades. I mean, I kind of like the really, really light shades, but the other ones, it's just not my kind of blue. This is absolutely a taste thing and a personal preference thing. So if you're looking at these and you're like, oh, I love these blues, they're exactly my kind of blues, and these are great for a stormy day or something like this, but they just don't give me the feels, is what I'm trying to say. So this is such an important thing to learn. Don't waste your time, don't waste your paint. Here's an example of some that I mixed on my palette with this indigo, and it's just not my kind of happy blue. So I made a note and a mental note that I really like the indigo in its pure form, and then maybe with a lot of white. But then to contrast that, we have ultramarine, which is my favorite blue, my all-time, hands down, favorite blue that I love and have in every single palette. And also here you can see I really, really love pretty much every shade that it makes with white. So this is a must-have color for me, a no-brainer, and I always want it on my palette. Then we have this color. This is from Van Gogh. It's a quite affordable brand of watercolors and oil paints. And this one is Phthalo Turquoise Blue. That's the name of the color. And you can see here how it mixes with white. Now, I do like these shades, especially like the turquoises here in the middle. The lighter ones, I would say, could use a little bit of an oomph for me, but this is how they mix with white. And one of the best things that I learned from Dreama is to mix colors and lighten them, not just with white, but with the cadmiums, or in this case, I think these are all hues. They're not real cadmiums. So she has on her palette like a lemon yellow or a cadmium yellow. Not sure. Depends, or cadmium lemon, whatever, anything that has lemon yellow type of thing, you know, that cool yellow, which I really don't use in watercolors, but I love using it in oils, which is kind of funny. The main thing you want to check if you decide to use this color, and I think everything I'm saying here will apply also to acrylics. With watercolors, it's a bit different because of the water and the transparency and all that, but yeah, so you want like a lemon yellow, and you want it to be opaque. That's the important thing. And then here I need to replenish, but I have like cadmium yellow and then also some cadmium orange, but it's mostly the lemon yellow and cadmium yellow, and you want them to be opaque. And here's an example of the same turquoise mixed with the lemon yellow. So that's the top row. You can see these are like very, very vibrant greens, and I actually really like them for some reason. Maybe not the one exactly in the middle, but like the turquoisey ones and then the ones that are more yellowy, I really like them. And then you can see when you add white, a little bit of white, that's the combo that really, really nails it for me. These are like all colors that I really love. So, and you can see the difference between like the colors I get here and the colors I get here. These are just a bit less alive. They're a bit kind of chalky, and the really like the secret ingredient to these bottom ones that have the turquoise and the white is that little bit of lemon yellow. So I just wanted to mention that because for me it really helped create especially those kind of greens and minty greens and teals that I love. The white is just not enough because it doesn't give it that like warmth and liveliness. So I wanted to mention that. And this is my glass palette. I do really enjoy it. It's a teeny bit big, I think, for my like daily use. So I don't know, maybe I'll buy a smaller version. But yeah, now I have to figure out where to put it, somewhere that I don't step on it, because I want to show you the other stuff that I got. So I'm doing all kinds of things differently this year. Okay, I thought it would be a bit better to talk face to camera instead of showing you the desk for a few more minutes. Oh, it's snowing outside. So after a few days of kind of doing my taxes for basically the first time. I know this might come as a shock to you, but I'm in my 40s, and I was a student for a very, very, very large part of my adult life, and then for a few years I was just, you know, a regular employee. So I didn't have to do my taxes. I just got my paycheck, and everything was very simple. And then I was again a student, and then I was a stay-at-home mom, and then I started my art business. And yeah, so I'm trying to catch up. This is a lifelong struggle for me to always, I'm very, very bad with deadlines that are kind of, you know, far away. That's why actually working in a hospital was really good for me, because everything had to be made today. There was nothing really I could postpone for the next day. So I had to do everything today, and you know, I don't want to say like people's lives depended on it, but people's treatment and kind of, yeah, everything depended on it. So it was very, very easy to do that. And also the day was very structured, and yeah. But being self-employed is actually doesn't really fit my personality for a lot of reasons, but Anyway, so I'm trying to do all kinds of things different this year, and one of the decisions that I made was that I'm going to buy my art supplies once a month. So it's one day in a month, and then it's easier for me to add it to my expenses when the time comes to do my taxes again. And sorry, my hair is a mess. And also it gives me a really good idea of just, you know, how much money I spent on art supplies, which is, you know, of course it's like if you watch Schitt's Creek, then it's deductible, but you know, you can deduct it and we can be best friends. So yeah, so I did that yesterday. I decided the first of the month I do all my art supplies purchases, and one order that I placed after asking you, which was very responsible and a good idea, like on my end to do that. I asked you what you wanted to see me try and review, and hundreds of you voted, so thank you very much. And you chose the Daniel Smith gouache paints. Now, I'm excited to try them. I'm not, like, I don't use gouache a lot. I've used them a few times. I have quite a few because I like to buy and try, mostly buy all kinds of art supplies, but I have a few, and I think my favorites are the Winsor & Newton. They have some gorgeous, gorgeous pinks. And then I also, you know, kind of enjoyed painting with the, I think I have the big set from Arteza, I want to say. Those are kind of fun. I still use them with my kids when we paint, so they're okay. And then also the Shinhan hybrid, what are they called? Those are also okay, but I really enjoy the Holbein ones and the Winsor & Newton ones. So the Daniel Smith, I'm excited to try it because it's such a popular brand and I want to see what they did with it. I'm not expecting anything like, you know, earth-shattering, but and for me personally in Europe, it's probably not the, it's not going to be my go-to gouache unless for some reason there's something about their formulation that I'm going to fall in love with. But most of you are in North America, so I know it's a good option for you. And yeah, so I ordered a bunch of these, and when they come, I will share that with you, and I will swatch them, and I will mix them, and I will paint with them, and tell you all my opinions. It's not cheap, and thankfully, I guess, the color range is very, very limited, but I kind of know which colors I like and which colors I use, so I ordered what I think for me will be a really good limited palette to start with. And yeah, so that's one thing that I ordered. And then I also went to the local art store because I actually needed things. I love being at a stage where, you know, I run out of something and I actually have to replenish it. It actually makes me feel super happy that, you know, I used up things and I actually buy things that I use. So unfortunately, they actually didn't have in the art store exactly what I wanted. I wanted watercolor paper that is 30 by 40 centimeters because that's the perfect size for my little golden book sketchbooks. And I wanted it hot pressed because I'm working on something that I will share with you very, very soon. I'm very close to finishing it, and hopefully it will be okay also with this paper. I needed hot pressed paper because I'm going to scan it into the computer, and they didn't have that. Maybe I should have bought hot pressed in a different size, but I decided to try and go with the cold press. Hopefully that wasn't a really dumb decision, but yeah, they just didn't have, yeah, I probably should have gotten a hot pressed in a different size. Let's see. Yeah, this is quite textured. Yeah, okay, see? That is quite textured, and I'm actually completely out of hot pressed paper. It's not my favorite paper to use, but it is kind of the best choice if you want to scan things. So here's the paper again, if you want to see it. It's not a paper I particularly enjoy painting on, but it's a good option for sketchbooks and, you know, sketches. And then I got something that I've been wanting to try for a long time, but because I have quite a few watercolor sketchbooks, I didn't. But I decided it would be, it's time to try it, and I thought you would also be interested in seeing this. So this is, I think, a relatively new product from Hanemühle. Hanemühle is my favorite paper maker manufacturer because they have really great, or like beautiful, paper that is very, very available to me and affordable. This is a German brand. I'm in Austria, in Europe, and this is available everywhere. So I really like it. It's kind of as local as it gets. I mean, there's Hanemühle and then there's Fabriano, which is Italian. So between those two, that kind of usually satisfy all my watercolor paper needs. And they came out with, I really like their sketchbooks. I wish they had different covers. It's all black and that's sometimes boring to me. But I like their sketchbooks, and this one is 100% cotton. So the paper is, I'll show you the specs. It is 250 GSM or 120 pounds. This has 60 papers, and I chose the A5 size because I felt like this was a good size. I don't enjoy like really, really small sketchbooks, and I didn't want to spend money on a big one before I knew I liked it. So I'm going to start playing with it very soon, and maybe you'll see the results still in this video. But yeah, it looks very nice. I kind of wish companies just made different covers. Like, why does it always have to be black? It's like so serious and not very inviting. And then, since I was already in the area of sketchbooks, I picked up this one from Fabriano, and this one is called Travel Book. And yeah, so this is like the, you know, this style of books, like a concertina, I guess, like that's the word I know. It says Fabriano Leporello is a unique concertina style travel book. It's beautiful mold-made paper, Fabriano Medioevalis, well suited to all kinds of drawing techniques. If used to capture landscape or a series of sketches, Leporello will create a stunning and personal memento of your adventures. So this has 20 sheets. This is also 260, no, not also. This one is 250. This one is 260 GSM, 135 pounds. And this is made in Italy. And you can see how it looks. So what I like about these is that, especially if you're traveling with kids, which is pretty much all the time what I do, it's really nice that if you can kind of have a lot of pages to work on and not have to wait for things to dry, because sometimes they just go through a lot. You can make this yourself. It's not very difficult, I think. I can see here like some of the places where they glued the next sheet. See, like here, you can see where it's glued. So you can absolutely make such things yourself. But I just wanted to try this. When I find a sketchbook that really speaks to me, for me, it's like very inviting, you know, and I will paint more if I have a great sketchbook. My all-time favorite sketchbook, I think, is the Fabriano Vergatone, and that one is beautiful, and I just really, really love it. Let me grab one. So this one is just one I kind of currently filling. I haven't been painting a ton in sketchbooks. For me, it comes and goes. Sometimes I really enjoy just sketching and painting in sketchbooks, and other times I work on loose sheets or canvases or something. Right now I'm not in that sketchbook period, but that's always fun. And what else did I get? So I wanted to try, I'm still looking for my perfect oil paint brush. I want a brush that I can easily clean without solvents, and so just like using a tissue or something. And right now I'm using the Monarch brushes from Winsor & Newton, and they're okay, but they're not, I'm wondering if there's something better. So I just grabbed a couple. This one is Da Vinci College, it's called, number 10, and that's how it looks. So this one is a filbert. Thought I would try a filbert. I've only painted with flat brushes till now in oils. I don't think I want to paint with round brushes. Round brushes are my go-to in watercolor, but I think in oils I need a flat one. So I thought I would try the filbert. And then this one is from, it's actually interesting. It says Bösnau, which is the name of the shop that I went to, which they have shops in, I want to say Germany, in Austria for sure, but I think also in Germany. And this is for that shop by Da Vinci, which is, you know, a major brush manufacturer here. So I think it's German. And yeah, so I saw this one and I thought I would try it as well. This, I think both of these, somewhere it said that they are good for more of like a impasto or pastos type of painting, so like thicker paint. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm trying. I haven't found like my perfect paints and brushes in oils yet. And speaking of that, I also got, speaking of oils, I got this retouching varnish from Sennelier. So this is a varnish, like a varnish spray that you can use on oil paintings before they have, you know, perfectly cured, like the recommended 6 months. So I wanted to use that. I have a few pieces that are hanging and I don't want them to like get too dusty or anything. So I thought I would try this. I still need to read a bit more about varnishing oils because I don't know enough, I feel. And I think that's everything I got. Also, I want to just show you something. As part of the new me being, I don't know, trying to get my life in order a bit more than it has always been. I'm very, very messy, and it's kind of a lifelong struggle sometimes. So I have actually in quite a high real estate position in my room a bunch of watercolor markers, and I'll show you. This box that has been living in my Raskok trolley here. So very, very high real estate spot, but I'm thinking since it is the second shelf, I'm thinking I will just move kind of mediums to that drawer, like level of the trolley, Raskok, whatever. Just because it's good to have things nearby, but it's not very convenient. So anyway, I've had these markers for years and years and years, and I never really got in the habit of using them. You know, unlike pencils and pastels, these never really became a part of my like go-to. I was just like playing around a little bit with them yesterday. This is a Royal Talens sketchbook, and it has nice paper, but obviously it's not watercolor paper. So the thing is about these is, with this particular paper in the sketchbook, once they dry, you can't really move them anymore. You know, I guess the whole point of being a watercolor marker is to, at some point of your process, you know, to activate them. That would seem like logical to me. So if I can't really do that, I don't know how they're going to serve me. Okay, so these are the colors that I didn't like anyway. I moved them aside. And here I just want to see, like, if I don't wait, and this is better paper. Yeah, so this really kind of is easy to move around. But I don't know, I guess for me, I don't know that I see the advantage of markers, you know, in comparison to regular watercolors. I guess you could sketch with these, but I don't know. I think for me personally, I would just prefer to just sketch with watercolors. I don't know. So let me know if you have watercolor markers and you really like using them. Tell me how you like using them, because maybe I'll see the light and figure out how they can work for me. See, with this paper, it just doesn't really like to move. So I wouldn't use the markers with this particular sketchbook, but I do have other sketchbooks, and I'll definitely try these also with the new ones, just for the fun of it. And then I have, these are kind of more, you know, geared towards crafters and like card makers. So actually they seem to move a bit better than the Winsor & Newton ones. Yeah, and then I also have the Faber-Castell ones. This was a gift, and they're like very, very juicy, but I don't know that they actually work for me. So I just feel like, you know, they're so bulky. Like if you want a bunch of them, that's like so much to carry. Whereas you could just take a little box of watercolors. For sure you have more control with these. These ones are actually, oh, that one is ruined. These ones, the Spectrum Aqua, I've had these for ages. They're actually pretty cool. Maybe these will be fun for me to sketch with. Yeah, this could be fun, just because they have such a, like a tiny, tiny tip on this side. So that is kind of nice to have that tip. But yeah, they're so like clunky, and I don't know. For sure my 7-year-old would enjoy them, but it's just like a lot to carry around if you want to travel with these. Well, I guess for me, like always my you know, I always want all the colors, because with a watercolor palette I can just take like a medium-sized palette and fit like 30 colors in it. But if I wanted to take 30 of these markers, it would take up so much space. But yeah, if you have any of these, then, you know, let me know if you like them, if you use them. Another product that I need to purge because I'm just not using it. So these are the Ken Oliver Color Bursts. I have actually two kinds. These are the liquid metals. I actually like the liquid metals more than the Color Burst. They're kind of cool, but maybe I'll keep those. And the Color Burst, it's basically this kind of powder. I think this was kind of, I'm gonna say something, you can agree or disagree, but to me it was kind of like this gimmick type of product that, I don't know, maybe people still use it and love it. But for me, it's just got too messy and I didn't really love the colors. So again, I don't know, maybe I need to play with it more, but it's basically like just like this like pigment that you get in these little bottles. You can make like really cool effects with it, but I don't know, I don't think it's like a bad product. So I just want to make that clear. I think it definitely does what it's supposed to do, but it's just never really, I never really fell in love with it. but you might really like it. So also, this is not something I would want my kids to play with because there's like powder. I don't want them to inhale anything or get it all over themselves. This is actually really, really fun for kids to play with, but it's the type of thing I feel like they need to be supervised, and I played with my kids. With every one of my art supplies I've used with my kids, and this one is just like, it got very, very messy, very, very fast, and I just prefer traditional watercolors. That just worked better for me. But you know, if you're like looking at the screen and you're loving what's going on here, then maybe you should try these. I don't know if they're still available, but let's try the orchid one. Yeah, for me, I think it's time for them to go. They're just not right for me. Oh, that's cool. No, I know myself. I've played around with these. Just this one is cool because it has like different colors in it. You can see like blue, powder, and some pink. So I just know myself, and you know, this is fun, this is enjoyable. You do this and you're like, ooh, but it just doesn't work for me. So these are going to be donated or given to someone somewhere, and I'm gonna say bye-bye to them. And this one, these are the liquid metals. They're kind of cool if you like anything kind of metallic. So you can add these to watercolors or just paint with them. It says liquid metals is a suspension of finely granulated metallic powder mixed with colorant and dispersing fluid that will add metallic luster to your artwork. Blend with watercolor and other mediums to make your artwork glow. And yeah, these are pretty. I kind of, again, go through phases. Like everything, sometimes I'm really into some metallic touches, and then other times I'm like, nah, it's not for me. And right now I'm not really into that effect, but it is, again, I don't think it's like a bad product. It's just not something that I use. If I want to add metallics, I will usually either use like a gouache or something like the Schmincke powders, and not these. Also, now this might not be justified, but I've kind of moved away from anything that is more craft, like geared towards crafters, as opposed to artist grade materials, just because I hope to sell my artwork and I don't want to risk using materials that I don't know how they will withstand the test of time. And something like this, it's really important because something like metals, and this also happens with like the, you know, the fancy artist grade materials, it can just like rub off, like all the metal powder just can come off if it's not properly formulated. So I just don't want to risk it, and I don't want to use materials that I don't know how they will behave in time. I have done certain, like nothing massive, but I've done some testing myself, and you can see with certain like pigments, they can disappear. If you're using things that are not light fast, they can really fade to nothing. And if you're using that in your sketchbook, then that's not really a problem. But for anything that might be sold at some point or hanging on a wall or have a little bit exposure to sunlight, I just don't want to. I wanted to show you this piece I'm working on, and this is a loose abstract floral. It has some issues, like, don't know, maybe I need to kind of figure this area out. It's very, very messy. I love a lot of the colors that I got here, and it started as kind of a mixed media piece on watercolor paper with acrylics and markers, and then I went in with oils. Now, I don't really enjoy working on watercolor paper with oils. I just don't like the way that the paper kind of moves and feels. It's nice with acrylics, but yeah, not with the oils. So I don't know, it's just been fun to play with this. What I really liked about working on this is that I kind of switched off my brain, or let's say kind of made myself blind to, this is a flower, this is, yeah, mostly to like, okay, this is a floral, I'm painting flowers, and I mostly just applied color to areas that, like, to where I wanted to, heavily relying on that first layer of acrylic that I have underneath, kind of going with that. So if I had a blue acrylic, I added some blue oil, and if I had a yellow one, then a yellow, and so on. And like, there are things I like about this, there are obvious issues here, but the process was so enjoyable. It's almost like my own paint by numbers, but I don't know, in a really kind of abstract, intuitive way. So I think maybe that's a concept that would work well for me for abstract paintings. But yeah, as a floral, I don't know, there's like things here that are not working, and I'm not sure how to fix it or how to address it, but I'm still enjoying the process of this. And I have a couple of other pieces that are just in different stages. And so these are also two watercolor paper pieces that I kind of did the same thing, just worked with acrylic and then worked in some layers. So currently it only has acrylic on it and then maybe some scribbles, but I'm not sure I'm going to add oils to this just because I didn't like working on the paper. But I think this will be fun to work. This one in particular, I can see myself trying to create something here. So we'll see how that goes. And then this one, this was really fun. I actually made a piece. This one is drying, and this started as something like this. So this is kind of a canvas paper type of thing that is meant for oils or acrylics. This is by Hahnemühle, and this is actually my preferred one right now. I really like the texture. This is a different brand. It looks like this, the cover looks like this, and I like it less than the Hahnemühle one. But I have it, so I want to use it. And this again started as something like this with acrylics. It's just really fun for me to kind of put down the main elements and then start playing with the colors. So this one is kind of finished. I didn't cover every single inch of it with oils, but I do really like how it looks. I love the colors, and I think it would look really like much more elevated when it's framed. So for now it's resting and drying. Then I also have a smaller one. There it is. Again, same thing, same principle, that I also really, really love how it turned out. This is a smaller one. This is the same paper as the larger one here from Hahnemühle, and I really love how it turned out. Like, I really, really love this. It makes me so happy. Yeah, it's just like a lot of fun. I think that's everything I have to show you. As I said, I'm working on something really fun that will be available very, very soon, and you will be able to enjoy it. And that's it for now. As I was putting away those markers that I don't like the colors, I pulled out these. These and the Prismacolors are like my favorite pencils. These are the Derwent drawing. Derwent has a gazillion pencils, but their drawing ones are my favorite, and I really, really wish, I know for a lot of people this like color palette of like these muted colors is a dream come true and everything that they need, but I need some brights, and I wish they added to their line. The formula of these is just beautiful. They are so, so enjoyable to use. If you haven't tried these, just get the black one, the ivory black one, and just try it, because I think you will love these. They are so soft. If you want like hard pencils, look somewhere else. But if you enjoy just pencils that really, I mean, look how beautiful they go on top of this acrylic paint. Just look at that. So, so nice. It's just, I don't know, it's one of these pencils that I can't put down. They're just so fun to play around with. And the colors are beautiful. I'm not going to say that they're not beautiful. Their range is really, really lovely. This one is called Solway Blue. And it's just like this icy blue. It's almost a gray, I would say. But they're just like really, really addictive. And this other one I tried before is called Smoke Blue. It's a little bit darker and, yeah, more intense. But, yeah. So I took out, I have a few, as you can see, I have a few that I use all the time. But I decided maybe I should take the whole tin to have on hand, just because they are so, so fun. You see, I can't stop myself, and that to me is like a sign of a really, really great supply. So if you haven't had a chance to try these pencils, I really think you should, and especially if you